What's up, guys? I am back for another video. Sorry this is super late, but fuck it. Today I am we're continuing the Texas Chainsaw movies. We're doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 or Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Never saw this one. I don't know, because like I said, I never really got into the Texas movies. I've definitely seen like a lot of the later ones, but I didn't see I've seen the first two. Never saw this one. I think I have seen Next Generation, or I've at least seen someone review it, because I know that's the meme. I know that's like the one with like I think fucking Matthew McConaughey's in it, and I hear it's like a really crazy movie. It's just out there. So I remember that, like it's a really crazy one. So I have seen that. So I've seen a lot of the later ones. I've not seen this one. And honestly, I'm kind of happy I didn't. This one isn't horrible, but it's very, I think I'm probably going to even title the video this. And I know it's a kind of an overused word, but it's like the perfect definition. It's mid. It's very meh. It doesn't, especially considering compare it to the first two. This one doesn't do it for me. None of the characters you really care for. It was cool seeing Viggo Mortensen, like a young one. I didn't expect to see fucking Aragorn in this movie, and he played like one of the Sawyers. I think he was probably like the family are usually like the best characters, but Michelle and Ryan, who are essentially our leads, I don't care for. Benny, played by Ken Foree, who I know him mainly as the dad from Kenan and Kel, but he's also been in like a couple Rob Zombie movies, like I think Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I also think he's been in House of Thousand Corpses, but it's been a while. I'll eventually review that too, by the way. But overall, I guess he was a cool character. So there's a couple characters, but I feel like overall this movie was just kind of weak. The kills didn't do it for me, because a lot of them they cut away, like the one where he kills Sarah, because that's the girl you see in the beginning. And it's weird because it's wishy-washy. One scene they'll show Michelle when she gets captured a little bit later. She gets fucking impaled with nails in her hand, and they show that. Like, you actually see the nails in her hand, and it's pretty bloody. But then you see her boyfriend Ryan get killed a bit later, and they cut away. Or when Sarah gets killed, they cut away. It's like, so, I don't understand why they would cut away constantly. I think the first half's a bit decent, but I think it kind of falls off the rail, especially towards the end. And then you have this pointless character named Alfredo, who Michelle and Ryan see earlier in the movie at like a gas station. And all his character is just a perv. That's all he is. There's no actual point to his character. He wasn't even like one of the Sawyers, which I initially thought he was gonna be. No. Like, I was initially thinking when we saw Tex again, when it, was the reveal that he's one of the Sawyers, I thought we were gonna see that Alfredo guy be revealed, oh, he's one of the Sawyers too. No. He shows up a bit later, gets beat up seemingly killed by Betty, Ken Foree, and then he shows up in the end, and then he gets killed. There was no point to his character. I don't understand why they threw him in the movie. In my opinion, it falls apart in the end. It feels like, especially when they get in the house, it's almost just a shittier version of the first two movies. Like, and I get it that you have to show the Sawyers, but I actually thought it was interesting initially when I thought they were going to do like not a hunting ground, but like them in the woods, like Leatherface hunting them down in the woods. I think that'd be more interesting, instead of like just doing another house scene with a family, which the family was cool, but it was just very much a retread of the first two movies, like where we had that similar. The only difference is they didn't do like a dinner, but essentially it's like similar. Yeah, it's not good. It's not awful. It's watchable. Like, if you want to watch it in like a marathon, it's only an hour and a half. It's not a long movie. I don't like Leatherface's look at all in this movie. He looks cheap. I don't like a lot of the later movies. I do not like until like the remake, the 2003 remake. I don't like a lot of Leatherface's later looks. It's like they just go full on ridiculous in the later ones. So I don't know. Movie didn't do it for me. It's not horrible, but it's very much like a 5 to 6 out of 10. I don't think I'd watch it again, or at least I'd go out of my way to watching. And to be fair, I'm not the biggest Texas guy. I would probably only really watch, like in terms of rewatching, I'd only watch the first one, the second one, and the 2003 remake. That's probably it. I think that's about it. We'll see how the other ones fare, but those are probably the only three I really want to rewatch. But this one doesn't do it for me. It's not horrible, but it's all right. Tomorrow I'm gonna go see Violent Night with David Harbour. Looks really fun. I'm not expecting a masterpiece. I'm kind of just expecting a nice little kill fest. Some from a lot of people who have seen it said it's basically you got like Home Alone traps, a lot of action. I'm not expecting anything great. Like as long as like I'm probably expecting more. If you're gonna ask me if I'm gonna do a rating, maybe like a 7 to 8 out of 10 max movie. You know, get some cool action scenes. I'm not expecting some masterpiece, but as long as it's fun, kind of think we need movies like that right now. So I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. If not tomorrow, like on the weekend. Sunday, I'll be doing my top 10 albums of the 2000s. Will probably be like the last video of that series, and then I'll get started on bands I love for music stuff. But so that on Sunday. If I don't do the Violent Night review tomorrow for whatever reason, I'll try to do it tomorrow. But if it doesn't happen, I'll do it on for sure like Saturday sometime. But I did like Leatherface's new chainsaw, like with the engraving on it. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, this movie didn't really do it for me. It's not horrible. I'm gonna reiterate, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's nowhere near as bad as like the Texas 3D or the most recent one. So, but this one just is very. I think mediocre is kind of, or meh. Is like a perfect description. So, I'm gonna get started here. Sorry. Anyway, ends up girl named Gina's being killed by Leatherface. You actually see him make the mask, which I'll admit that was cool. Sorry. Sorry, he's been coming at me. So I thought it was cool where we see him actually making the mask with the skin. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's so inconsistent. They'll show that. Like, you actually see the skin in his hand. Oh, and there's a scene later where Blink, he's like one of the family, gets his ear cut off, and they show that. But it's like, they're so inconsistent with the vibes, like, that they want to show. The ones they want to cut away from. Sarah, like her sister, sees it, and she's around the house, and she gets changed, shakes, and this is where we meet our leads, Michelle and Ryan, who are on a road trip, and they stop at a gas station. This is where they meet Tex, played by Viggo Mortensen, who I thought was really good. He's definitely one of the best parts of the movie. And it's always just cool to see Viggo Mortensen and stuff. I mean, fucking Aragorn. So, and they also meet basically perverted Alfredo, who, like, while Michelle's like in the bathroom, he has like a peephole and he was watching her. Tex catches him, and in a fit of rage, Alfredo grabs a gun, nearly tries to kill Michelle and Ryan. They manage to escape and seemingly killing Tex. And at this point, I was thinking initially, like, oh, it's a setup. I was thinking he's going to be one of the family, Right? And then, yeah, they don't do anything with his character. There was no point to him. Because I'm just going to go through his character arc in this movie. Not even an arc, but like just his character in this movie. You see him in this scene, and then you see him later gets nearly seemingly killed. And then in the end, when he tries to kill Michelle. And it was weird, because it's like, he's not even like one of the family. He's just some weird pervert. And I'm like, why is he in this movie? At least if you had made him a family, like one of the Sawyers, he would have had a point. But there was no point to his character. Just except he's a perv. That was it. Like, that's all he was. It was weird. And to have him come in, I know I'm jumping ahead, way ahead, because this is the ending. But have him come in the end instead of Leatherface was weird. It was such a weird decision. But anyway, so they managed to escape, but they end up. A large coyote gets chucked at the car, causing one of the tires to get fucked up, and then they have to fix it. And while there, they get attacked by Leatherface. They also meet. This is where we meet survivalist Benny, who I actually think is a really good character in general. I think Ken Foray plays a good character actor. Because he's like, he's in a lot of like Rob Zombie movies, and he often plays like characters and stuff. So I thought he was pretty good in this. He's like one of the few good actors. So while there, I'm sorry, I'm calling him by his actual name. Benny sees a truck, and this is where we meet Tinker. Initially, they think, he thinks Tinker's there to help him, but then he notices a chainsaw because Michelle and Ryan mentioned chainsaws. And Tinker attacks him and basically is revealed to be one of the Sawyers, gets saved by Sarah. Leatherface attacks, ends up killing Sarah, what was the point of her character? I thought she was going to, last a little bit long. No, she gets killed fairly quick, and also, they don't even show it. You see him, put they show, the front shot, right, of Leatherface getting ready to put the chainsaw on her, but then they cut away. Or it's, a hard cut, and then she's already dead. It's, why aren't you showing the kills? This Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even the original, it's not bloody, but it's, even for the time, it's pretty intense. Even the second one a little bit, even though that was a bit more of a comedy. And it's just to see him in this, the kills to me are weak because they constantly, I don't know if it was an MPA, and I don't think it is because some stuff later, you see people get nailed. You see, even these big fucking hooks put in Ryan jumping ahead, but you see these big hooks put into Ryan's chest, and they show that. They don't cut away. So it can't be an MPA thing. So it's just weird. The shit they show and they won't. So after killing her, Ryan ends up getting hooked on a trap by Leatherface. Gets captured. So does Michelle. Makes it to the house, but she ends up getting attacked by Tex, who's revealed to be one of the family. I'll say this: the movie's quick. It goes pretty much. It's not long, and it's not boring. So I'll give it that. While this is happening, Ken is trying to survive and I keep saying Ken. I keep saying his real name. Benny is trying to survive on the outside, and there's another scene. Yeah, he sees Alfredo, and then I think he hits Alfredo with the gun or something. It was what was the point of this character? I don't understand why he's in this movie. Anyway, Michelle gets captured by the family, and there's Tinker, Tex, Leatherface, and there's Mama. There's more family, which is just kind of, I feel like they just added that because in those first two movies they didn't show a mom at all. But anyway, and then there's a little girl who I actually thought, if I had to say another, even though she's not in the film long, I thought she did a good job at playing creepy. She's in this pink dress. I think it was pink. Very bright, I'll just say bright color. I don't know if it was pink or yellow, but in this pink dress. And yeah, she looks like this innocent girl. They end up nailing Michelle to a chair, and it's they showed that. They even for a second showed Vigo hammering it in. So I'm why show that? And you even see her hands with the nails in them. And it's not uber gory, but it's that's an image. And it's what? I don't understand why you show that, but you're iffy about actually showing actual kills with the chainsaw. So Ryan gets brought in. They end up hooking him, which he probably should have died immediately because he gets hooked in the ankle with these big ass hooks. I'm he probably should have bled out, but whatever. He ends up not Michelle, the little girl demands to kill him, so they let her do the honors. And yeah, that's the one they cut away, and he's dead already. It's I don't understand why you're so you won't show that, but you'll show this. You'll show Tinker a little bit later, a little bit after this, get his hair, ear shot off because yeah, like I guess I'll jump ahead. I guess we're at that scene now where um Benny shows up with a gun and starts shooting in the house, ends up killing the mom and Tinker. Um, Michelle manages to get free. And Michelle, well, Tex fights Benny while Michelle ends up fighting Leatherface. And Benny ends up killing Tex by like setting him on fire, like throwing oil on him and fucking lighting him. So yeah, Tex is killed. Michelle seemingly kills Leatherface, and then she ends up like walking on the road. Car pulls up, which is Tex's car, and she thinks it's him, but it's actually Benny. You know, they have like their little survivor moment, and then now Alfredo attacks them, seemingly knocks out Benny, tries to break in the truck with a sledgehammer. She grabs a shotty and kills him. Like, what was the point of this scene? That you easily could have just made that Leatherface. I don't understand what was the point of that scene. What was the? And I'll admit, the scene where she fights Leatherface, she's like starts screaming on going like primal. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Should have mentioned that, but like she starts like before like getting ready to fight Leatherface, she starts like screaming like what is going on? Like it just the movie just isn't a Texas movie anymore. When Benny was fighting Rex, it just looked like some movie in Texas that if you would just show that scene specifically, you wouldn't think this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface is barely in the movie. He's not in it much. I mean, he's in it, but he's not in it a lot. And I feel like the kills they do show, they cut away. And there was no point to this Benny character. Not Benny. The Alfredo character. He was just a perv, ultimately. He just wanted to get in Michelle's pants. That's all it was. It seemed like. It wasn't like, he wasn't one of the Sawyers. So it was like, what was the point of this character? I know I've been saying that a lot in this review, but it's like, what was the point of his character? I don't understand why he was thrown in this movie. If you would just throw him in the movie and make him one of the Sawyers, fine. But no, he's just in it for no reason. Like, I just feel like that should have just been Leatherface. No, they think they got away and then Leatherface attacks and then they figure out a way to get him off and get away. Why didn't you just do? Because he ends up, even like when they leave, he ends up showing up anyway, and then he like does the scream like in the original. It's like, I don't understand why that could have just been Leatherface instead of Alfredo. It was such a weird movie. Leatherface, I don't even feel like was really involved in the final act, really. It was such a, yeah, this movie is weird, man. I think it was fine in a little bit in like that first bit, and then it just throughout it just goes like off the rails. Even for like a slasher film where I can't turn my brain off a little bit, but I couldn't in this one. This one isn't, I'm going to reiterate, isn't horrible, but it's not one I think I'd watch again. I'd probably, like I said, only stick to the first two and then the 03 remake. This one, I don't, like, I can understand if you want to watch this if you're just marathoning them all, but I just don't think there's really anything in this movie. Like, I feel like Leatherface doesn't stand out. The kills are weak. There's some okay characters. Like, I like Betty and I like Rex, but probably the only two characters I really like. The main two leads were boring to me. They just felt like generic actors. Yeah, this movie isn't great. It's not awful, but it's not good either. I feel like it was just that third act when they're in the house. It just feels like a shitty version of the first two movies. You know, you even had like the granny this time around. The grandpa was dead, but it was essentially the same thing. It's like the only thing they didn't do is like the attempt to smash the hammer on her head, like they did even in the first two. It just felt like it was just trying to be a retread, and it didn't. I don't think it added anything, in my opinion. So I don't, like I said, if you want to watch it just to binge all the movies, but that's about it. I wouldn't watch it just to like review it. Like, I wouldn't watch just to watch it. So 5 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna sit. I was gonna give it a 6, but I think I'm gonna sit at a 5. If they didn't cut away from the kills, maybe I'd give it a 5.5. But they kept cutting away from kills. And it was unnecessary. It was weird because it was like I said, they would show Michelle getting her hands impaled with nails. They showed Tinker get his ear cut off, and they showed that. And in the beginning of the film, you see him literally using skin. So I don't understand why they're so like, it's like 1 minute they're scared, and then they're not. It's so weird. So that's really all I can say. It's not that great, middle of the road. I think it's probably what I'm gonna title this is mid. Movie is mid. So, but tomorrow or Saturday, the latest, I'll review Violent Night, which I hope is good. I think it will be. I haven't really heard anything bad from like a couple reviews I've seen. I've just seen it's very much a fun movie. I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting like a masterpiece or anything like that. I'm just expecting like a fun little action flick. See Santa fuck some motherfuckers up for maybe like an hour and a half and then be done. So I'm not expecting anything crazy. So I can't wait to review that. I've been I'll admit, it was more of like a trailer. I saw a trailer like, I don't know how long ago, but I'm like, okay, I'm in. It looks fun. I liked Fat Man too. So that was good too. Yeah, guys, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is 5 out of 10. So, cheers one more time and peace out. Sorry, but as usual, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck Disney. Fuck Biden. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.